Oh, hey, Tristan. Oh, hello, Mr. Pencil. I need you to do me a favor. Oh, okay. Well, how can I help you? Well, seeing as your group hasn't had the best first introduction, for lack of a better terms, I need you to do me a favor. Okay, I'll do anything. Destroy Leonis. I'm sorry, Mr. Pencil. What? Thank you to our $5 patrons, Sinis Lancelot, Artgoon, and the Divine Anpu. And a big thank you to our $25 patron, the Mr. Greed. Now, before we hop into this breakdown on why I want Tristan to make Leonis the next Danafor, please do me a favor, leave your own thoughts on this proposition in the comment section down below. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, make sure to hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below where you can support me for as low as $1 a month. Any support would be appreciated. Now, let's get into it. What's up, guys? I'll go Pencil here, and yeah, kind of want to turn Leonis into a gigantic burning hole. And the thing is, right, I know this sounds a little bit wild and a little bit nutty, a little bit crazy, if you will, but the thing is, right, we know that Tristan, for some reason, in the movie, and up to this point that we've seen him so far, notably we haven't seen him for very long, he's only been in a few chapters up to this point, but he's a little hesitant to use those demon powers. And to be fair, demons do have a negative stigma around them, so I get why he would suppress them around humans, because obviously there was a whole great war just 16 years ago, and it's very likely that people wouldn't accept him too much, even if he is the prince, just because he got demon powers and he's showing them off. It's the same reason why Meliodas is constantly strolling around in demon mark like all other demons do. So, reasonably, if I were to throw out a hypothetical, what if we just had Tristan destroy Leonis once Meliodas dies? Like, a moment, okay, context for this entire situation. One of my favorite moments in Seven Deadly Sins is the reveal of how Danafor got destroyed. Like, we know, we get the introduction to the idea that Danafor got destroyed all the way back in the Vizal Fighting Festival arc. Way back then when we got to meet the old man of Danafor, Cain, who ended up being like, hey yo, Melly, you destroyed the kingdom. What the heck, dude? And then, bada bing, bada boom, we had that whole conflict, and it was built up and explained to why that happened. One of the reasons that's my favorite moment, or one of my favorite moments, I'll admit, I have a lot of other favorite moments from the series, but one of the reasons that whole event, the destruction of Danafor, is one of my favorite moments, is because it's the start of an arc. And notably, I'm not saying it's impossible for Tristan to have already mastered his demon powers, and obviously have them all under control, and just not use them yet because they're stronger than his goddess powers, considering he's more demon than goddess. And who knows? It could be revealed immediately. However, considering the fact that we are edging on Calamity, if you will, and I do believe that unlike something like Boruto, I don't think Nakaba's going to keep Meliodas and a lot of the previous cast around for too long. I think we're very near to the cusp where he's like, like, if he's loading up the Spagaki, if you will, because I don't, and this isn't even because I think Nakaba doesn't like the characters. I think it's just like he knows that keeping them around is more of a liability than an asset, especially when they're all such beloved characters with such insane levels of strength. Like, how are you going to let the Four Knights shine if you have beings like Meliodas, Full Wings, King, Bond, like these monsters just linger around in the background like our top tiers of the previous series? How you gonna let the young cast fresh and wild out? Obviously, the best way to do that is to have them perish, or at least be sealed away somewhere. Like, Coven of Eternal Darkness, if you have to do it that way, do it that way. Though, notably, I would just like them to be. and I'll go into a whole video more in depth and explain why I need them to go. But the reason I want Tristan specifically to do it is because if we're going to go down this arc that seems to be set up in the Edinburgh promotional material and so far shown in the manga, I would like it that Tristan, due to the suppressing of his demon nature for so long, literally can't control it. And then provided, just like his father was, with extreme emotional stimuli, like who knows the death of his father or something like that, or his mother, or anyone of that caliber, he just snaps. And obviously, with his level of potential, once again, I know, but Pencil, didn't you say he was going to be number 3 by EOS? Yes. And I hope he is. But still, his level of potential and the raw power that he should likely have access to at this point, you saw a twinkling star. I think it was gigantic. So imagine what he would be able to do with his darkness powers. Imagine if he made a crater out of Leonis. And I think that would be a great way to, like, give Tristan his own hang-up. Because notably, unless something gets revealed in Edinburgh, Tristan has nothing. Like, Percival has the whole debacle about his ties into Camelot and his dad and his grandfather. He has a whole mystery to chase. Lancelot has his entire backstory with the Lady of the Lake and how that ties into Chaos and Camelot and all the stuff like that. Gawain is literally related to Arthur. He has a whole ton of stake there. Meanwhile, if you look at Tristan, you can even tell by how lax he is about getting the 4 knights, not getting too much information. He's not tied into this at all. It doesn't really matter to him. So, essentially, he's doing it as a job because his dad asked him to. That's about it. So I think the best way to get Tristan like really deeply tied into this narrative is have a cost come from his lackadaisical nature. Like you can see, and notably I've been getting on Tristan in the previous reviews for this for a while, but you can see with how trusting he is. Like he's still very, very naive to a point where someone like Lancelot wouldn't be. And to be fair, Percival's also very naive, but he has a Lancelot. He has someone who will listen to him, or no, someone that can rein him in as long as he's there. Unfortunately, but Tristan doesn't seem to have that. Even all the time he spent with Lancelot and his dad and all this stuff like that, it hasn't instilled any responsibility in him. So if you have Tristan be responsible for the destruction of Leonis after something grievous happens, like the perishing of a certain parent or two, like, then I feel like it could work out where Tristan now has this deep personal vendetta with Camelot. And the thing is, this kind of actually fits into what he was highlighted as in chapter 5. Notably, I don't think Tristan has to do the exact same thing his father did, where he literally explodes with darkness and like vaporizes the entire kingdom. But I'd be fine with that. But in actuality, what Tristan was titled all way back when was Pestilence. And we know that in excess, if you're not a demon and a demon releases miasma around you, you get sick, you die. And, well, not die. To be fair, when they were around Asabo Meliodas, no one died, but they were getting sick. They were feeling heavy. Like, Tristan could start to carry this aura of an apocalypse around him just because of the actions he's caused, the things he's done. And it would give him direct stake into Camelot, what he's currently missing right now compared to all of his contemporaries. So I feel like by, doing the good old-fashioned wombo combo, allow him to possibly sicken all of Leonis and release of dark energy, because he's not strong enough to vaporize it yet. Or he is strong enough to vaporize it, and due to this, like, his dark powers start overreacting. Like, notably, we know in 7 Deadly Sins, your emotions can definitely affect how your body functions. Like, on every single level, you can become stronger, you can become faster, you can become more wild, your magic can spiral out of control. So Tristan going over this self-control arc with his demon powers would be actually pretty interesting. And it would come as a byproduct of Meliodas and him not addressing this. Like, if Meliodas, before his eventual sealment or banishment or death, were to not have explained this to Tristan just because of all the stigma around their kind, then this would become a thing where you could leave the entire arc for Tristan to discover and have him go down this path. And once he achieves balance once again, he becomes the Mael we've all been waiting for. No, I'm kidding. But he becomes the sort of chaos surrogate where he literally gets to mix his dark and light powers. I think a story where we follow Tristan on this journey of self-development after an event like Danafor, after an event such as the destruction of Leonis, or the great sickening of Leonis, or the great plague that's caused by his pestilent darkness, I think would be great. Mainly because you get to have all the benefits of having a regular character arc while also getting that tie into Camelot, because obviously the reason that Meliodas would be sealed away, die, banished, or same case with Elizabeth, is because of Camelot. It gives Tristan great stake in the narrative. It gives us a very cataclysmic moment that really explains why Tristan is so dangerous and why he is one of the Knights of the Apocalypse who is fated to either save or destroy the world. And on top of that, it gives us a character arc to follow down. So it kind of answers all the 3 things that are needed, because everyone else has one. All of the 3 of the 4 knights, like I mentioned, they have their own stories. They have their own plots. They have their own roads they can walk down. Meanwhile, Tristan, he's sort of just fumbling along, and that's fine, right? You don't necessarily have to have every single character have a deep, meaningful character arc and tie into the main villain. Look at King and Diane. And they couldn't care less about the Demon King. But the thing is, I would like them to. I would like Tristan too, mainly just because he's a legacy character. He's one of 2 legacy characters. No offense to Gawain and Percival, but they're out of left field. So is the entirety of our main cast up to this point, except for Sin, who ended up being Lancelot. So I would definitely appreciate the legacy of Meliodas and Elizabeth sort of living on through Tristan and having a different version of the story. Meliodas was born a demon. These were his powers, and sure, he didn't have them under control, but that was much more an emotional issue rather than oh no, I literally don't have the training with my biology issue. Meanwhile, giving Tristan all this power with a cost like that, with the inability to control it, I think that balance there would really help Tristan, like, not only be a balanced character within the narrative, because he can't risk going all out unless he destroy everything again, and two, it lets Tristan sort of, like I said, give him something to do, because the way the plot's going and the way Tristan's going, it don't seem like he got much to do. And that's not, and like, once again, like I said, that's not the worst thing out there. You can let it roll. You can let a character fumble and mumble along. But in the same vein, I would greatly appreciate if Nakaba were to be like, hey, you know what? I want a mirroring moment with his father. His father destroyed Danafor. He can destroy Leonis. And then they can have a whole arc following that. Notably, the only thing I don't like about the Danafor moment is that it's a beautiful scene. I love how he overcomes it within his head and has to relive the death of his love over and over and over again. But it wasn't a very progressive arc. It was much more, hey, Meliodas, we need to get you your power back. Hey, Meliodas, the reason you lost your power is because of this rage. Hey, Meliodas, let's do like 5 chapters on how you get over this rage and pretty much rarely talk about it again until your evil side starts creeping back up again. And not your like internal evil side. No, like your emotions are being eaten out of you. So like I would greatly appreciate if Nakaba took a more progressive route with Tristan, especially considering this can go on for a while. Notably, I'm not exactly sure how Nakaba is going to stretch this narrative, because unlike before, we have so much of this world laid out, so I'm not sure, like, unless Arthur's Knights of the Round are just so insane and there are multiple levels to it, like, I don't necessarily see how long this story can go, but I feel like it, regardless of how long it is, it'd be long enough for a progressive arc like this, where we see Tristan recover from his trauma, get control, and become a better knight and person and more powerful than his parents could ever be. I think that would be pretty fire. However, those are my thoughts. Please tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that little notification bell so you miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below where you can support for as low as $1 a month. Any support would be appreciated. Thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Dago the Pencil, writing off.